all the other YouTubes, I look through them and I've been kind of talking about negative things going on with negative letters, and I think that's kind of depressing, There should be something uplifting in life, and there is positive letters also. There are positive letters such as, well, let me name the negative letters first. B is a negative letter, and D, and let's see, F, and K, M, P, R, S, T can be negative or can be positive. I'll explain that a little later. U is a negative letter. It's a negative vowel. V is a consonant that's negative. And when I say negative, it doesn't mean they're really bad, but it just means they're denser vibrations that we have to work through, more karmic, and it makes us work for things we want, makes us reevaluate ourselves, our lives. And it creates balance in our, so we have the positive letters that help us get through positive times, and we have the negative letters which are balancing out our karma and testing us and giving us tests. So V is one, and that's a negative letter, and X is another one, very negative letter, and then we have our neutral letters, and these are the one vibration. Now all those I just mentioned were either 2, 4, 6, or 8. They were ruled by, like for instance, B is a 2 letter, and D is a 4 letter, and so on and so forth. And see, so 2, 4, 6, and 8, those are negative numbers, and so you can see how that works. Negative letters are attached to negative numbers, but positive letters are attached to positive numbers. Now the only difference being that the letter T, it can be powerfully negative or it can be powerfully positive, because it's just power. It's a 9 vibration, and 9 is just power to do whatever you want. So you can be as negative as you want, go out and become the world's biggest criminal, and God knows you're probably not going to get away with it, but you can do it, because you have the power, to do that. You have the power to be positive too, and you have the power to in the letter T. And enough about the letter T, because that is one of the positive letters, because it's a 9, and 9 is a positive vibration, but 9 is just pure power. So you can see how that can work in a negative way or a positive way. And so I'll go into the positive letters now, because I think that's really nice to talk about. People want to know if they're transiting a positive letter. And when I say transiting, I mean living through. We live through from, say, the first letter of our name, through each individual letter of the name until we get to the end, if we live long enough. And then the end would be 75 years of age, and we'd start over again at the first letter. Now, I know I'm going a little fast, but I want to try to cover as much information I can in about 10 minutes, because that YouTubes are normally about 10 minutes. And so anyway, positive letters, what are they? Okay, the first positive letter is the letter C, and that's a nice family vibration. And it's a beautiful letter to have a family, raise a family in, and it's just it's an easygoing vibration, happiness in the family. So that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. And E is the next letter, which is a vowel, and consonants and vowels work differently. Consonants are more material, more gross, more dense, and we have to work through those. We have to, like C, you'd have to work very hard for a living, but it's a beautiful way to make a living, and you're really very giving and loving in that letter, and there's nothing wrong with that. So then we go on to letter E, which is a vowel, which is our heart, strikes our heart chords in a very positive way, and it could be a very beautiful love letter be in, but it's the angels talking to us, letter E, because Elohim starts with E. And so this is where the letter E evolved from, is the Elohim. And so the spiritual conveyance that this gives you is just wonderful. And so letter E. And G is the next letter. G is like the C, only you can raise yourself up in society. And like, for instance, my father had a G in his middle name, George. And he was able to get himself out of the slums, so to speak, and into a nice job. It wasn't a cushy job or anything, it was still a hard job. But he was the district line foreman of a Central Maine power company. And he was a very admired man. And this is what the G is. They're admired people because they really gain and they have a good structure in their life and they really get someplace, you know. Whereas other people in other letters may not get as far. But G helps you raise your level of society, your level in society. So H is the next letter. H is very good. It could mean an inheritance or it could mean a new child coming into your life. It could mean a lot of things, but it's usually a surprise. And it's ruled by Mercury. Mercury rules the letter H. So Mercury is logic, synthesis, education, and it's like a good vibration, just all in all. You should work for your money in all of these letters because working, serving others is what we came here for. And a lot of people don't agree with me on that, but if they aren't serving others, then what the hell are they, they have no astral use on this earth except to live on others, you know, who are serving them, right? You know, what serving others, they'll get benefit out of that, and we don't all have to serve others in every respect, but even the President of the United States serves others. And so you'll find anybody who is in any position of power is also serving others. They couldn't have got there if they hadn't been serving others in some fashion, form. So we're at letter H. J is the next letter. It's not really a positive letter. J is one of these one vibrations. J, I, Y, and A, and I think it's about Q also are all one vibrations. They're all neutral, so they can be positive or negative depending on the surrounding vibrations. If surrounding letters are negative, they're probably going to be more negative. But if the surrounding vibrations are positive, then it lifts them up and they're able to stand better on their own. So that's those letters, J. So K, no, K is a negative letter, so L is very good. L is like you're coming into your own after a long period of time of troubles, and you came into this it's like Christ consciousness. It's a very beautiful letter, and it's the same number as Christ, which is the number 30. And when he became a master, you know, that was the year he became a master and went out to teach people. Well, there is a certain amount of sacrifice, just like in the Christ situation. But after the sacrifice, you gain so much and you come into so much stability, and it's a very nice letter for that kind of stuff. So, and it's a good family letter also. So that's L. And then N would be the next one. N is another mercurial vibration. You have to work hard for your living in the letter N, but there's big rewards if you do. And so, remember the word needing things begins with the letter N. So if you need something, you usually go out and try to achieve getting that through work or through some means or methods of trying to get that. Well, that's what the N is. It's needing things. But needing things, your intelligence, your intellect starts working, and you start figuring out ways to achieve, you know, what you want. And that's what the N is all about. So it's a positive letter, ruled by Mercury. So N, L, M, N. Okay, and M is a very negative letter, but so we M, N. O is the next letter. O is a very beautiful vowel. It's the eye of God. It's direct insight. It's God's word upon the waters, like reflected. God's word goes on the waters. It's reflected up to us, like through intuition, through psychic abilities. So that's what the O is. Very positive, beautiful letter. And it's a good love letter too, in case you were wondering what good love letters are. U is a good love letter. But usually there's some kind of a burden with the letter U, and that's a negative letter, by the way. U, it's a 6th vibration. And the 7, the O is a 7 vibration, a 7. And so you have a positive love vibration in the O. And it can be debauched, but, you know, if that you misrepresent the energy there and you don't really use it positively, then, you know, things can go south. with that letter, because it's just the temptation sometimes is too great, because it's very beautiful, but you have these beautiful insights, but if you don't follow up on those, and you fall into this trap of thinking everything's always going to go your way without really using those insights for the positive purposes they should be used for, then that would be mitigated, you know, the positive influence. So, O. Q would be the next one. Q is a neutral letter, is equivalent to 100. Instead of a 1, it's 100. So there is a certain raiment, certain magnetism with that letter that comes into people. There's certain spirituality that comes into people when you have that letter. So Quincy, Quinn, all these people who have that for a first letter, you see they're very beautiful babies. They seem to glow, you know, that kind of thing. So it's very beautiful in that sense. And even if it's your second name, you'll still gain quite a bit by transiting that letter. And so T is the next positive letter, but it also can be a negative letter because it's just power, like I was talking before. So it's power to the good or it's power to the bad, depends on how you want to use it. And so the W would be the next one. See, there's only about 10 or positive letters, and there's about 12 or 13 or 14 negative letters. So the balance is towards the negative, you know, on this earth plane. But the whole thing is that's to teach us and to test us to try to achieve positive results through having to walk through negative karmic levels, which is these negative letters. And so W is like two U's. U is a negative letter, but it's a love letter. So this is like the power of two U's coming down to the earth, being manifested on a material plane, because it's a material vibration. It's consonant. And so it's the power of this divinity, two towers of divinity descending, you know, into the material realm. And so we can use that creative energy, and we can use that for, you know, being creative or being having. It's just a wonderful letter to be in. It's just happiness, you know. It's like being very happy. Williams begin with that. So there's a happy vibration at the beginning of William's life, or Wayne, or something like this. So doesn't mean the whole name is going to turn out to be positive. The whole name has balances, and all the letters are weighed in, and then we come up with a positive or negative result or a balanced result. And that's a whole nother story, and maybe someday I'll go into that on YouTube also. But anyway, I want to tell you about these letters. So the Q, T, and I just talked about the T, W, and I talked about the W, and then the next one would be Z, because Y is a letter that can go either way. It's the number 1 vibration, so that can go, yeah, you know, it's not that, it's a kind of a letter of weakness, but so it's not that great. But anyway, Z is intuition used on the material. It's a consonant, so it's a material plane. Z is a consonant, and so it's intuition, which is a 7 vibration, coming down, like the O, only it's a material vibration. So it's intuition coming down. We call those hunches. So you get these hunches, and you usually gravitate to where you belong in life when you're in a 7 vibration, because your intuition kind of guides you along. And so that's the end of my sojourn for today with you. I just wanted you to know that there is positive stuff going on out there. We don't have to listen to all this negative stuff. I mean, it's nice to learn about it and all that stuff, but it gets depressing after a while. And you think, well, I'm living in this letter D. What's going to happen to me? I hate it. Well, you know, you're going to sooner or later be out of that letter D or the letter M or the letter, you know, B or whatever negative letter you're in. And it's just a testing time. It's a testing time for you to test the metal of how strong you are, how much you're going to learn from that vibration. So don't let negative numbers and letters throw you. Use the positive, however, to climb and lift yourself. Don't just waste it, because it's there for you to gain the ascendancy that you need in this lifetime. God bless you. I love you. Have a great day. Thanks for listening.